By day, he is a husband, father, and boring old fart. But by night, he's, well, the same. But he also does stuff. Hello and welcome to That Mental Ginger Show with me, Andrew the Mental Ginger, because if there's one thing that's more disturbing than being a ginger, it's being a ginger with mental health issues. So let's see what we've got on the show for you tonight. Stuff! Well, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the last episode of the series. I know you don't want me to go the whole three of you, but good news, it's going to be a two-parter. And there is, ironically, two reasons for that. One, the special guest interview that I've got is quite an extended interview, so I want to devote time and attention to that. Second reason is, everything seems to be doing two-parters these days. You had the Harry Potter book that was split into two, Twilight that was split into two movies, The Hobbit was split into in three movies. So let's jump right in. The first part will be for our special guests. I'm going to take you back to the early 2000s. Nu metal had just came on the scene with the likes of Limp Bizkit and Papa Roach actually making it into the mainstream. I was a big fat ginger with slick back hair, thinking that I looked like Danny Zuko Figueres when really I looked like Sonny. I wore massive baggy trousers, similar to the style of flares, with chains on them, and those mosher black hoodies with bands printed on them. In my case it was, once again, Limp Bizkit. And I was starting to listen to a local band from our high school. They were pretty good as far as I was concerned, and I thought one day these guys are going to actually do something, and hopefully I'll be able to hang on their coattails so I can manage to blackmail them for an interview one day. And I did. So I'm going to play you a song from the band The Psychotic Pandas, and this is ironically called The Debut.
To die in your eyes, to live, to die in your smile, to live, to die in your eyes, to live, to die in your smile, to
song. Every time I hear it, it takes me back to when I was a sad, depressed virgin who had no hope and no prospects. So it was like last week. So that was the Psychotic Pandas and their song, The Debut. The Psychotic Pandas eventually went on to become well-known band Flood of Red, and I'm very pleased to say that tonight's special guests are singer Jordan Spiers and guitarist Calum Doris. So let's jump into the interview.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the poor unfortunate souls that are tonight's special guests.
Calum, Jordan, welcome to the show. So, let's go back to the beginning, to the time of the Psychotic Pandas. My dad absolutely loved that name, by the way, and he still talks about it. So, how did it all begin?
Well, I guess it began through a mutual love of skateboarding. You know, I always remember it that we were a bunch of friends who were all skateboarding together, and that was the most important thing at the time to me. You know, everyone just kind of hanging out at the weekends and having all this energy that we're trying to burn up. And, you know, I had got a guitar for my 14th birthday, and I think Graham Griffith was in my biology class, my French class, sorry. And we all skated, and we just wanted a way to continue kind of, you know, burning that energy and being together. So I think someone just had the idea, like, why don't we start a band? Why don't we give it a shot? And as for TPP, which stood for the Psychotic Pandas, man, that was like a little cartoon that I would draw in high school, and I would draw like this panda like skateboarding and like eating like kids and everything, and I think it just kind of became like a mascot for the band, and it kind of somehow ended up becoming the name of the band.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what. Sorry, I was a bit late there. Due to this Corona time, my laptop was kind of freaking out. But yeah, pretty much. I remember you guys being in that band called Psychotic Pandas, and I just thought it was cool, man. I was just obsessed with wanting to be in a band, and I remember when you guys had asked me to be the singer, I was like, it felt like a life-changing moment for me. I was like, this is it. I was just so badly wanting to be in a band when I was at that age, and I'd skated with you guys anyway, and it was just another fun thing to do together and an excuse to hang out more, because I remember we used to skate and you guys would practice. I was like, oh man, I want to be in a band so bad, but I'm absolutely terrible at guitar, so there was no need for me at the time. But I remember being at a practice and singing along to a song that you guys started playing Hymn, and then
Sure.
I don't think you knew the words at the time, and I knew them word by word. I just jumped up and sang it, and then I don't know, it just kind of clicked. It felt good, and that's like my earliest memory of the Psychotic Pandas.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you say about like that life-changing moment, because I think you're absolutely right, dude. When you, like, I remember that band practice. We used to have this, we used to practice in Chapelside Community Center from 4 o'clock to 5:30, 6 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon. And we go up, you'd carry your guitar around with you in school all day, just choking to get to Chapelside so that we could all play. And yeah, we were all skateboarding, we were all hanging out. But dude, the moment that you stepped on stage and got behind the microphone, like, I can still see it in my head. You know, I can still replay it like it was yesterday. That was like, for sure, a life-changing moment, because I didn't need to worry about trying to sing and play guitar at the same time. And you were like, your vocals were so good. You like weren't shy about like belting out the notes and like carrying the notes. And man, like, I mean, we all thought you were like the coolest dude anyway, like from skateboarding and everything. So yeah, so getting you up on stage was just like, that was, yeah, life-changing moment for sure, was getting you into the band to sing.
That's immense. Yeah. Fun times.
And then, do you remember, I'm sure I have a photo of it somewhere that your dad took, of our first gig, and we had our first gig as TPP, and I bought those mad iron-on like letters, and we all wore the same like matching TPP t-shirt. We all wore our own merch to our first gig.
That's sorry, my computer's like
no, you're good. That's embarrassing.
I've forgotten about that until now. That's amazing. It was a long sleeve white shirt, and TPP is when we decided to be TPP and not the Psychotic Pandas, because we thought TPP sounded cooler.
Yeah, way cooler.
And we had designed our logo in some sort of class. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Maybe a class that the school sent us to because we were annoying. And then at lunchtime, so we designed a logo, and then we just like printed it on the t-shirts. I mean, I wish I still had that shirt.
Same. I mean, I'm sure. Well, I probably would fit because everything was baggy back then.
Yeah, it would.
Do you know, actually, just even, I'm going completely off topic here, but I remember we had that logo for TPP, and I remember we went on like a school trip to France, and I'm pretty sure Graham got in trouble for like drawing the TPP logo on like all these French buildings. Like if we'd stop at a petrol station in Paris, whatever it was, he would like fucking scribble the TPP logo into like a bench or into a door of a bathroom stall or something. And, oh man, France doesn't know what hit it.
Just a bit of publicity, you know?
I mean, I never played a show in France, but I hope it paid off in the end for somebody.
I'm sure it did.
Sick.
Actually, we had a French band come over just to play with us at one point, but that was with Flutter Red, so maybe... Actually, they did get into TPP, so you never know.
That's it.
Jump forward a couple of years. New band name, now Flood of Red. You've got a new lineup where you've got Sean and Dale brought into the band to create a new sound. Explain the process of how that all went down.
Well, I guess it comes down to just friends hanging out and wanting more friends to hang out more in a band, pretty much. Yeah, TPP were TPP, and Dale used to like come to every show and take photos, and he would be like our band photographer. And yeah, one day I remember Graham bought a synth, which is like a microcorg, and just gave it to Dale and told him to learn how to play it, because we just wanted him in the band and we wanted to play around with new sounds with the synthesizer. And then we also thought it was a fun idea to have another guitarist, just because we thought it would be cool. And Sean would come to TPP shows wearing his own TPP t-shirts that he made at home. But yeah, we it's so funny to think about, but we became friends with him, and then we realised he was such a good guitar player, and we just wanted him in the band. We asked him, and he joined like straight away.
Yeah, good times, man. Good memories. I feel like I remember showing up to Chapelside practice, and Graham had just gone out and bought a synthesizer for like £100 or something, and I was like, oh sick, are you gonna play that behind the drums? And he was like, nah man, Dale's in the band. And it was just decided, like it wasn't a question, it was just like, yeah, okay, excellent. I mean, yeah, that's the next most logical step is why wouldn't Dale be in the band? He's our best friend.
And I just think he became obsessed with electronic music. That day, it was just like as if he just went full synth mode and researched it and learned how to play it so quickly. And but yeah, it felt great having a keyboard player. I don't know why, because we listened to a lot of bands that had keyboards in their music, and we were just like, that would be so good. And then, but yeah, we're quite fortunate that Dale was the man to be playing keys, because he came up with some amazing sounds later on.
Yeah, and it was really, I guess for me, it was really great to also not only have one of my other best friends in the band with Dale, but then with Sean, I think we kind of spoke about it earlier, but definitely Sean was way more of a competent guitarist than I was at the time when we were kids. He actually knew what he was doing. He could read music or like tablature, and he could like play all these songs that we listened to. And yeah, when we heard him playing guitar initially, it was just like, wow, we got to get that guy in the band. Holy smokes, this kid's shredding.
I know.
Yeah.
We had you riffing, and we wanted a Slayer, and we're just like, he's slaying, man, get him in.
Yeah, get him in, man. It was so good. And then I think that just gave us such a bigger sound from there. And I think by that point, yeah, we were 100% on, kind of established, I guess, as like Flood of Red in our minds, I suppose. But having those dudes join the band, and to be fair, Jim McGowan as well, I think that was the real like lamenting of Flood of Red. And I think that was like a big step for us as well, because I don't know that we had done too many shows in Glasgow or outside of Airdrie, I suppose, as TPP. Like we maybe done like a handful of like Friday night showcases in like old places like Strawberry Fields and everything. I feel like when we changed the name to Flood of Red, and we had like Dale and Sean and the guys in the band, like I feel like that was when people were like, fuck yeah, these guys are a new band to check out, sort of thing. And we got way more shows in Glasgow.
Yeah, it felt like we were taking it serious, huh?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that takes us on to the... Hold on, this is that question. Sorry. But yeah, when we changed our name to Flood of Red, it just felt like, the next chapter. Like, it felt like we weren't kids, even though we were just a bunch of kids. It was like, I don't know, how old we were, 16, 17, Flood of Red started, and then... we just thought, right, this is our life now.
Yeah.
We're just going to go on and be rock stars. We don't need school. Let's ditch this exam. And, you know how it went. We went to London, didn't we?
Yeah, that was we were still in high school when we went down to London to record, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Our parents let us go down and record the we had recorded music before, but that was like the first big Flood of Red EP.
Oh yeah, then we released it as Flood of Red.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, that's right. Was that when we bought a van, or before we bought a van?
Before we had bought a van, so I'm pretty sure.
Was that Megabus?
That was the Megabus. Yeah, we had got the Megabus down because I had only just lost my hair that year, and that was still 6th year of high school. In October, when I shaved it off for Halloween, completely unrelated, you had the best Halloween costume ever when you dressed up as Freddo. And then, like, literally the month later, it was December when we went down to London, so we must have got the Megabus and recorded down with Lester Woodward.
I remember thinking it was big time, because I knew, like, Charlie from Busted had recorded with Fight Star.
Yeah.
At that time, and we're just like, whoa, this studio we've made it, man. We've been invited to an actual studio, but it was good. It was like that recorded music was what took off Flood of Red, and we added the songs like straight away on MySpace, and it was just like a very fortunate time for people relating to that music when on MySpace at the time, and it just took off from there, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I think not only for us, but for everybody else our age or thereabouts, like, music was like a big part of who you were. Like, if you listened to the Libertines or to whatever you were, an indie kid or a trendy kid, if you listened to, the kind of American influenced bands, or like, the British bands like Fight Star, like Funeral for a Friend or Hell is for Heroes, or, all these kind of bands, then you were, whether you were a goth, a mosher, a skater or whatever. But like, I think for us, getting that music recorded and putting it out, yeah, absolutely, it became such a big thing for us, as well as for the people who were, thankfully listening to our music at the time. They really kind of liked it, and that was great for us, becoming Flood of Red for sure.
I remember that, what do you call it, that it just felt like a jump from being like a band from Airdrie, from being like that used to play Glasgow now and then, to like being asked to play all around UK, and that was just crazy. And we felt like it was a time to buy a van, an X-Place Riot van with like Christmas money we all put together, and we were just like, right, we're doing this. People actually like the music.
Yeah.
And then even if people didn't like the music, we'd play anyway.
Yeah, we played.
We just wanted to play gigs, man. It was good.
Yeah, so good, man. Those were the days. They just like literally bought that van, slept in it probably more than I slept in my own bed. Just anywhere that we could get on a show, we would drive to and play. As long as we had money to put fuel in the van and get to the next show, man, that was it. Yeah, incredible times.
Amazing. Scares me more, and everyone finds a face of loneliness. So at one point or another, it was 1.0. The rain will never stop for me. It's another wet day again. It's another wet day again. Oh, I am the black clouds over dark say it will never pass. Dark say it will never pass. Well, that's just what it feels like, and that's exactly how it feels. All my friends are lost in a storm I have created. I'll never get them back, or will I find them? The rain will never stop for me. It's another wet day again. It's another wet day again. Oh, I am the black clouds over dark say it will never pass. Dark say it will never. The rain will never stop for me. It's another wet day again. It's another wet day again. Oh, I am the black clouds over a road. Dark say it will never pass. Dark say it will never pass. The rain will never stop for me. It's another wet day again. It's another wet day again. Oh, I am the black clouds over a road. Dark say it will never pass. Dark say it will never pass. Pass.
So your momentum starts to increase, your audience is growing, and the album Leaving Everything Behind is a massive success. When you guys even had an interview and
Well, I don't know. It was I don't know, for me a life defining moment with that album, and we recorded it in America with, I forgot the name of the state.
The Douglas asked me.
Baltimore, sorry.
Yeah,
we
Baltimore.
recorded it in Baltimore. Yeah, we recorded Baltimore, and I remember just with one of our favourite producers, and I just remember it being, I don't know, it was surreal, and that month of recording and writing music every single day with not a lot of sleep, I'd say, but it flew by so fast. But I remember it being one of the favourite memories of all time. That's why I hold that album so close to me, I guess, because we were all working to this album, and yeah, it felt like years in the making, and to get to that point was just, I don't know, unexplainable. It was great.
Yeah, man, it was real special. I think even being out there, you know, like it's crazy that you say that we had the success, and that, you know, we were growing and growing and growing, because I think even at the time it all just felt like a dream. It was almost so dizzying because everything was just happening, and even being out in Baltimore and recording this album, it still almost didn't even feel real. You know, like there were moments where you kind of have to look at each other and be like, what the hell are we doing on the other side of the world recording this music? This is insane. You know, these are just songs that we've been playing, you know, hoping that people will like them. Like, how do we get here? How did it turn into an actual thing with, you know, that's kind of got legs and moving? I think it was really, Joe, it's funny because I remember there's like one of the hills in Airdrie up behind TJ Fryer. If you're driving from like Airdrie to like out towards Green Gaires, we always used to go and like drive up that way and watch the sun go down after we were like done skateboarding and everything from Airdrie Skate Park. And I remember, I think for me it was the moment that we got like the first kind of like mix of Leaving Everything Behind sent over from Brian McTiernan in Baltimore, the guy we recorded with. And I think a few of us went and sat up in like my mom's old red Toyota Corolla, and we sat and we just listened to the album in full. And I think that was like the moment that it kind of like, that light bulb moment, that it felt like something had paid off, that this hard work had paid off, because I think we had just always dreamt of, you know, making music and playing music and hearing this almost an hour long piece of music that we had made. That was incredible. That was just insane.
Yeah, it's just crazy thinking about that. But it definitely felt well paid off when we listened to that first mix, and I think it was like the only music I listened to for like a year after we got the mixes back. I know as mad as that sounds, but I just couldn't believe that was us as a band. So I was just like obsessed with listening to it and thinking about how other people would listen to it, and but yeah, that just felt unreal, especially with a producer like Brian McTiernan, as he had worked with so many of our favourite bands that we loved when we were growing up. So yeah, it was a mad time.
Yeah, I think in the whole thing with like releasing an album as well kind of makes it quite a big, it's a very kind of like, it's like a rite of passage for a band almost, you know. It's like that you've gone through puberty, you're growing up, like for like a band, here it is, like here's this big thing that you can't ignore, and all of a sudden, like, you know, there were magazines who wanted to listen to it, there were TV shows that wanted to play our music videos, there were people who wanted to not only listen to the music but to like kind of help tell other people about the music, and that was insane. Like I remember Andy Durham at Rock Sound like writing up, we got that kind of like that double page spread in Rock Sound, and it was just reading what someone else thought about that album was like a mind-blowing moment as well. And I think that was just, it was really refreshingly cathartic, you know. It just felt really good to know that other people liked the music, I guess, as much as we did.
I was like, you joking? We're just wee guys for Airdrie, man. We're just like, I was like, why are we in a magazine?
What the hell were we doing in Baltimore?
That's true.
Man, it was insane. Yeah, really, really cool time.
Calum, just after this, you, rather ironically, leave everything behind, and after a while, you join up with a new band, Bad Luck. How did this venture come around? More importantly, why did you go?
I think, I mean, when we were kids, we were always bringing in always listening to music. It was never a question of like, hey, do you want to listen to this band or do you want to go see this band? It was just like yes, I'm going to go see this band and I'm going to listen to it whether I knew it or not. And I think I was very, very heavily influenced, and I had like a kind of very opposing tastes in music. One side was like very easygoing, upbeat, like Jimmy Eat World, Brand New, Taking Back Sunday, all that kind of like saves the day college rock stuff that had this Americana influence. And then on the other hand, it was the emo, screamo, Under Oath, Misery Signals, all that stuff that was just like super, super intense. I think for me, I just started to get kind of a little bit lost in what I was writing musically. And, we had that album out at this point, and we were writing and writing and writing. And, some songs would sound, really lighthearted, and we were experimenting with that. And then other songs would be like the heaviest stuff we've ever written. And I think I just kind of started to get a little bit confused and lost in it all. As for like Bad Luck as a project, it wasn't necessarily that like I left Flood of Red and started Bad Luck, but I think it was just a kind of case of we had all kind of, the album had been out, we had toured and had some of the best shows ever, and it just came to a point where I think I wanted to just try something maybe a little bit new, and yeah, so I had I left the band and had these songs that we had never really got finished. And I think at some point, like a friend of ours had just said, dude, like, you should play a show yourself. And that was like the most scary thing that I think I could had ever thought about doing at the time. But I asked my friend Kim to sing with me, and we did like a little acoustic show. We didn't have a name for the band, so we just kind of chose Bad Luck. And if I'm honest, Bad Luck is like a tongue-in-cheek homage to Flood of Red, because we actually had the worst luck, whether it was our van breaking down on the way to shows, whether it was, playing a show and in the third song, the power to the venue would cut out and everyone would have to go home, and we had driven 400 miles to go play 2.5 songs before the electricity cut out. We just always kind of had the worst luck as a band, the best memories, but maybe also the worst luck. So Bad Luck was always just kind of like a tribute to the time that I had growing up in Flood of Red, and that was really about it.
Yeah, true. It feels, I do get that. Flood of Red were tragically great, I feel.
Yeah, it's a good way to say it.
It felt like we were always on the cusp, and then something would happen with all aspects, not just like making it, so to speak. From like going to a gig and the van would break down, or
the amount of times we'd fallen off a stage, or something would go missing, or Graham's drum kit would fall apart. It was just I think because we were playing so much, there was like more chances for something to go wrong.
Yeah, that's put nicely, that. Yeah, you open your chances of things to go wrong with the more you try. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, effectively. The more you do it.
If we didn't try as much as we did, probably more good things would happen. Is that right?
Nah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that necessarily would have been the case either, because I think everyone knew we were very determined, and I do think despite all that stuff happening, like with Flood of Red, we would always still make it to the show, or find a way to get back to the place that we wanted to play.
Nah, that was just us. Like, shit would happen, we were like, yeah, fuck it. Whoops, I'm allowed to swear. Sorry, Andrew. We'd be like, oh well, let's just get on with it.
Yeah, for sure, man. And we just never stopped playing music, and that was it. Good times.
Jordan, Calum's gone, new guy comes in, you release a new album, there's even more praise, and then that's it? Dude, what happened?
Ross Taggart, the best dude in the world.
What happened is a very good question. It's something, I guess, still runs through my head all the time, but I feel like it was life got in the way a lot within 6 guys, and we worked a lot on putting album number 2 out, and we toured it a lot, and then it just feels like life got in the way big time, and I guess like we just found it really hard to maintain like living, keeping flats and relationships and jobs and everything at this age. It feels like it got harder as you got older. Like we couldn't be in the band as much as we wanted to without having to work all the time. And yeah, it was kind of sad. It was just kind of the realisation of growing older and knowing that you have to work to be able to have the things that you want to keep as well. And we just couldn't necessarily keep the band going as strong as we could have. And you know, there's a lot of personal stuff that was going on. Nothing too hasty between any of the members, but yeah, a lot of I don't know, like life happens, and a lot of like mental health probably wasn't in the best it could have been either, with, you know, like some of the boys, myself as well. And but yeah, I'm very fortunate for that time as well. It was it was still a good time, and yeah, Ross, we were quite lucky for Ross to like want to step in and play guitar. He was he used to come just hang out with us all the time, come to Flutter Edge shows, and he was just such a good guitarist that we couldn't imagine anyone else other than Ross just like coming playing guitar, because it did feel like such like a empty space when Calum left, because he's like such a big personality, and I just love his guitar playing so much. But we knew we had to just keep writing, and yeah, for me personally too. But yeah, it was a weird time, but we felt like we just wanted to push on and do our own thing, and I was happy Calum was also doing his own thing, because Bad Luck were cool. But yeah, what happened? I still don't know. I think we all just mutually knew that we needed our own time to sort our own lives out, and I guess that's okay. We're all okay with it. I guess that's it.
I think what you're saying is, I mean, from my perspective, and I mean, my perspective is only my perspective because I wasn't in the band at that time, but I actually totally realized that. I think when you think about, like, I mean, it's funny that we're doing this with Andy, because, you know, we've all known each other since we were like 11 years old, if not older than that. You know, we picked ourselves up and just started pushing ourselves in a van to go and play different shows. Meanwhile, people who weren't doing that our age were living a completely different life. And I think there's like an element of like, there's things that, yeah, so then all of a sudden when you're 26, 27 years old, 28 years old, and when you're like trying to live this life that other 26, 27, 28 year olds are living, and you're like, man, but there's a whole bunch of stuff that I guess you kind of missed out on. Not missed out on, I don't want to say that, but it's just like you're maybe not in the best place to kind of deal with what life is all of a sudden when you're that age, because of what music has afforded you. Yeah, it's crazy to think about it like that.
I know, I mean, like, when we started the band, we were all living with our parents still, and we would just like take off, not worry about bills or any other commitments. We would just go away in a van and like live in the van for months on end. Yeah. And then as you get older, it's not as easy, because you can't live with your parents forever. And
no.
As much as it sounds nice, but yeah, you grow up, you have your own space, you want to earn your own money, and music industry can be a little tough, you know, and but yeah, you want to like have your own place, but so like trying to work that out between 6 guys at a time could be like it could be frustrating, and even though we wanted to keep going, but yeah, things get, being young is hard, getting older is hard. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it, man.
Well, being young felt invincible, but
still hard. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, life's still good, so we've got the best memories ever, so yeah, we don't regret it.
I think, I mean, again, my perspective is just my perspective, but I think the real cool thing is we all did it together, and we're all still best friends, we're all still buds. Like, there's like how we did it all, how we traveled, how we made music, the experiences that we had, you know, were incredible experiences. And even though, you know, music kind of became a thing that we look back on now, the experiences were amazing because of the music that we had, whether it was then, whether it was now.
just met so many cool folk that were just like us from like Airdrie, towns like Airdrie that just want to like go out and do their own thing, and we'd like bump into them every now and then, and we still see them to this day, like, and we're just like, cool. just like just like doing this one thing is pretty weird, and then people just come and listen to it. Playing music's great, it's mad, but I do kind of miss it sometimes.
All the time.
Same, yeah.
Last year, For the Red reunited for a 10-year anniversary tour, with Calum coming back. Yay! And it's fair to say it was a massive success. I mean, I think the Glasgow tour sold out within, a couple of days of it being launched. So now there's been time to reflect and think about the future. Are you guys going to work on some new material?
I was just going to say there's two parts to this, and number one for me is I think we absolutely need to recognize how incredible the 10-year anniversary tour of Leaving Everything Behind was. I mean, that album's like we were saying, that album was an absolute pillar of my life. It's one of the things that still supports me to this day. You know, when I think about my biggest achievements, my proudest moments, some of the, my favorite memories or whatever. And so getting to relive that last year with Jordan, Graham, Dale, Sean, and Jim and the guys in the band, and then everybody else that came out to the shows, that was insane. Like, that was literally one of the greatest moments, I think, of my life. One of the greatest memories of my life was playing those shows and playing that album in full every night on those shows.
It was weird. Like, I remember we had planned to go and rehearse all together, and I was just like, I don't know, I was like beyond excited and terrified. I was like, because I had not like sang all those songs. I'd not like went over, and I was like, oh man, I'm going to have to learn all these songs again. So, but yeah, I started playing the album a lot, and I just knew the songs. And then we went, and I was just like, I don't need to worry about this. And then we went into the studio, and we all just started like jamming away, and it just all clicked. We were like back to where we were when the album came out, and
machine.
It just felt normal. I mean, like, we'd not all like hung out in the same room in a long time, but it felt like no time had passed, because we've got Jim living in Canada, and like Graham lives up north in Inverness and stuff. Oh wait, not Inverness.
But like, Graham's way up north.
He lives up north.
Just north of Inverness.
Is that north of Inverness?
Is he in Aviemore now? I feel like he works north of Inverness.
Alright. Damn it.
No, you're good.
He lives up in Aviemore. We got Dale living in London. Sean just recently moved back up from London. You're in Edinburgh.
Edinburgh, yeah.
I'm here in Glasgow, and it's not often we got to just hang out and play some music. And we did that, and it just felt like nothing had changed. And then we went on the tour, and we just nailed it 4 nights in a row. And the people that came out were just immense. It was just so nice to know that people still care. I think that was like a big shock for me in a way. I just thought people were being nice and buying tickets and just to come see us play. Like, alright, we'll see the old boys off now. But no, I just felt it was weird, because I seen like Ross Taggart, who joined the band after Calum. He came to see us in London, and he was just like, he said something to me as well. It was like, because you got to realise that this album's like bigger than you. And I was just like, you're totally right, man. I was like, I always forget sometimes what it meant to people as much as it meant to me. So that kind of bypassed me.
Yeah. I guess it's almost funny, like, looking back when we were, I think one of the questions earlier was like, how did it feel knowing your hard work was paying off? It almost, I don't know, man, like, it almost kind of felt like back then when we were younger and doing the album, it didn't ever feel like it had paid off because we were so much in our bubble. Or I don't want to say that it didn't feel like it never paid off. Like, we were playing shows, we were traveling the world, it was amazing, and meeting so many cool people. But yeah, we were like so in like focused that you kind of almost forgot that it meant so much to everybody else. And in some ways you almost kind of like, of course we all enjoyed it, but you kind of worried that like you kind of maybe missed a few moments that you could have enjoyed more because of how other people reacted to the album or how much they loved it as well. But yeah, what were you saying about that album meaning so much to other people? Like, I mean, definitely hanging out with you guys in the band was the absolute highlight, but then playing those shows to, you know, sold out rooms of people who had traveled from all over to come and listen to those songs again, and who stuck around to talk to us and say how much that album meant and like tell us about their memories of like listening to us when they were 14 or 15 like whatever it was. Like that was insane, and that was heavy, like emotional in like good ways. And then that was insane just to kind of, just to really kind of recognize, like, maybe that's when it felt like the hard work paid off. I don't know. Is that a weird thing to say? Like,
nah, I get you. It just, the fact that it meant a lot to a lot of people, and we had made some time. Well, we had all the time in the world for anyone that came to these shows, but we were just hanging about and we were just like chatting to everyone, hanging out, and it just felt like it felt like an atmosphere that I forgot about. It was, I don't know, it just took me straight back, and I just tried to like soak it up for as much as I could, but yeah, it was just like probably the best 4 days ever, to be honest.
I was so
to do that again.
I was so excited last year for like, from the second we started talking about it, like the second that Jim, who was out in Toronto, was just like, I can come over from Canada, sure. Like the second he kind of like said that in our message group, it was just like, wow, okay, this is special. This is going to be, you know, something insane. Man, I don't even think, had the shows not been busy, like I don't even think I would have been that upset about it, you know. Like I still would have been so happy to be playing music in a room with, you know, everyone again. But I think it was just even made even more special by the people who came out to the show. And, you know, the people who came out to the show, our music really meant something to them, and 10 years later I can't believe that it still did. And that's such a it's such an amazing thing.
I just think it just boggles me, to be honest, because like, as I've been to so many anniversary shows of bands that I've loved through the years, and like I've loved every minute of it, but I didn't once think that someone would be like that about our band at that point. But then when tickets went on sale, they sold fairly quickly, and I was just like, I think when that happened, I was like, I kind of shit myself a bit. I was like, oh my god, like I really need to be good. So I remember doing all my old vocal warm-ups again and everything, but yeah, when the time came to go on stage and do our thing, it was fun. We tried to not make it as stressful at all. There was no pressure. There was no one coming to review the show. We didn't care. It was just for us and anyone that loved the album. So it felt good. It felt like a different approach. Normally I would be, bad as it sounds sometimes, I'd be thinking too much about what other people would think at that age and what magazines would say what, and if there was anyone out there that would give us a bad name and stuff. But this time I'm just like, you know what, this is ours and we're going to enjoy it. And I think that's what we done. We gave it like an immense 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, it was a great birthday party.
Pretty much. Yeah, we got pretty tipsy on the last night in Glasgow. We managed to stay relatively sober throughout the first 3 nights. I was worried because I'd lose we were worried to lose our voices and stuff, and I mean, like, we didn't want to guff up Glasgow as well, so when Glasgow came around, we played King Tut's, one of our favourite venues in the world, and we got our King Tut's whiskey, and safe to say we all had a few of them. It was great.
Delicious whiskey, man. Yeah. Oh man, such a good time thinking back about it. Like, yeah, just honestly the most fun I've had in years, dude. And are you guys going to work on some new material?
That's a cool question. I mean, like, I've had the itch for it ever since those shows So no doubt, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I think it's hard to just, you don't want to just like throw away, oh yeah, 100% the band's back together, we're gonna tour here, we're gonna record a new record, because everyone's scattered now. Jim's back in Canada, Graham's back up north, Dale's in London. Everyone is where they need to be right now. I don't necessarily think that we can say yes to there being new Flood of Red material, but that doesn't mean that we're not all working on music in some way, shape, or form. I think everyone was so inspired by the 10-year anniversary that it would be hard not to pick up a guitar or play the drums or sing or just even to go to a show to enjoy, music and feeling inspired by music again in the same way that we were when we were kids.
Yeah, sorry to give up any let down, give up. Yeah, I said no doubt straight away. But yeah, unsure because we're all so far away from each other, and I felt like we kind of left a good mark of where we left it. But you never know what could happen.
Yeah,
to be honest. But we are all working on little bits and bobs music wise for our own fun. But you never know, we could do something. But I don't know, it's very hard to tell, but we're in no rush, that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, no rush to kind of, I don't know, don't want to say spoil a good thing, but no rush to try and repeat what was already so kind to us,
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Finally, do you have any upcoming projects that your fans might want to know about, especially during this uncertain time?
Unsure, but I guess some of us do want to work on some music, don't we?
Yeah, 100%.
And we don't know how, we don't know when, we don't know what it'll be about, but if we do, you'll certainly know about it. But like I said on the past question, no doubt, because I definitely got the itch after that tour, and it just kind of sparked a bit of me that I thought, I guess I kind of lost. That sounds kind of deep, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it makes sense.
It does though. But yeah, definitely do it with no pressure. Do it for fun. That's how we started doing it, so if it happens, it happens.
Yeah, dude, I'd probably say that in terms of upcoming projects that people want to know about. I mean, I don't really know that I've never really written music to put out and to release. I've never written music to a deadline. I've never written it for somebody else to be like, okay, well, we need music. It's always just been second nature because I've always appreciated music so much. And that sounds like a really kind of lame, emotional thing to say. But I think because music has always been so kind to me and, kind to us growing up, that it's something that I'll never not want to do. So of course I'm going to pick up the guitar and, keep writing songs. If I release them, sick. If it's a new band, if it's a solo project, if it's just me in my bedroom, playing songs, I'll always continue to do it because, it's just something that I've loved. I've always have loved it and will continue to be, thankful for what music has put into my life. So of course I'm going to always replicate it and play some stuff.
It's good to have little mini concerts to yourself.
Oh, I do.
And
solo shows every night. Just turn it up to 11 and I air guitar to my own demos.
Amazing.
I'm kidding. I'm not, but...
No, we're all guilty of it. Yeah, it's always fun. Pick up, play music wherever you are. If it's in front of anyone or if it's in front of yourself.
Yeah,
I guess.
For sure.
In front of yourself.
I guess in terms of upcoming projects, music isn't the only thing that everyone's interested in nowadays. So it's really cool to kind of see what everyone else is up to. You, Jordan, you've absolutely had such an amazing couple of years, with everything that you've jumped into, especially, music being one of them. I'm sure there's a million things that you've got planned coming up as well, which is going to be cool.
Yeah, it's good to get older.
Yeah.
And experience new things and try out different things. Yeah, getting older's quite cool. We shouldn't be too harsh with ourselves. So
yeah, it's very true.
There's something that Dale used to say in the band that I always remember as well. It's younger, you used to always moan about getting older, but we're like 19 or something, it'd be like, I don't know where he got it from, but it's always stuck with me. He always says you don't get older, you get better. And every single year, I just remember that.
Yeah.
So Dale's always been full of the wisdom.
Man, he is such a wise guy. He's like a wise wizard trapped in a handsome man's body.
Definitely. I know, he's got all these one-liners. He's always been a one-liner guy, but there's so many. You could talk about Dale all night. And but yeah, that's one line that I think I've understood and appreciated as I get older. So thanks, Dale, if you're listening on the Mad Mental Ginger Show. I hope you like that one, Andy. Is that on brand? I'm kind of Auburn, so that counts.
Man, if I had hair, I was never ginger, but I would happily be redhead, Auburn, bright red, whatever. Give me the simply red hair, man. I'll take it.
It's a great hair colour.
Man, redheads. Oosh. Whew. Hello.
So, which leads us to the end of the interview.
No, but wait, Jordan, I have one last burning question.
Hit me.
Don't I? And the last burning question that we have to know is, what is your favorite memory of Andy Durning?
I know one that comes to my mind straight away, which no doubt you'd love to tell, so I'm going to leave that one with you. But, funnily enough, I remember just Andrew Durning being just such the sweetest guy ever through high school. And he was always into alternative music, like a lot of what we used to listen to as well. So he'd be in most of our classes, that's how we know him. And he approached us like for this interview and stuff. He knows the band and everything still. And but yeah, I remember we just used to sit in drama. We'd all be in the same drama class, and I used to sit next to Andrew and stuff, and we just used to talk about albums we're listening to and all that. And I remember when he first, I think it was Andy that first had Queens of Stone Age Songs for the Deaf, and it was the first time maybe I might have listened to it in full. And I remember I was just like, man, that's amazing. I was like, what the heck? I was like, I'd never heard of him at this point when I was in school, and I remember buying it not long after and bringing it into drama class. I was like, Andy, mate, this album's incredible, and I still listen to it all the time. And whenever I listen to that album, I just remember being in drama class. Just sort of like takes me back, and you having the wee Songs for the Deaf CD in your wee CD walk. Just share a wee earpiece. I was like, Andy, that's quality. But so yeah, I'm going to take it. I'm going to let Calum take this next one.
Man, I remember Andy cutting around with in high school with the headphones actually, and it's again such a great memory of just all of us. Man, remember cutting around with a Walkman. Jesus, first and foremost, carrying all your CDs in your backpack so you could switch them up on the walk home from school. My favorite memory of the wonderful Andrew Durning was back in high school. And I've told this story to everyone whenever, Andy pops up in conversation, because I will never, ever, ever not see this image in my mind. But we all used to hang around in high school, like on lunch, on your break and everything, and just avoid getting beat up by the shitty kids in Airdrie that were also in high school with you. And, we just try and find somewhere quiet to hang out, talk about music, talk about whatever. And we ended up hanging out quite often in the assembly room of our high school. And our assembly room, was like big, empty kind of gym hall space. And it had a theater stage about maybe 4 foot off the ground, 3 foot, 4 foot off the ground. And often, because it was the assembly room, there would be like all the school chairs and everything set up so you could go in and sit and listen to your teacher talk, whatever. And the room was kind of like it was almost like a circular shape with doors like on the outsides. There wasn't like just one door in and one door out. It was like doors kind of coming in from all angles. And so because of that, there was like there was a space down the middle of the assembly hall that you could like walk up and down. And one lunch one lunch, for whatever reason, we're in the assembly hall and we're sitting on the stage and we're all running and jumping off the stage and using, you know, the rows of chairs to kind of see who could jump the farthest off of the stage. So, you know, I would run and jump, and I would jump, you know, as far as 2 rows of chairs from the stage into the chairs. Jordan would run and he would jump, and his big long legs would carry him like, you know, 3 or 4 rows back. You know, we used this middle walkway to land and to measure how far we were jumping. And I remember like all of us were doing it. There's probably like, I don't know, like 11 of us hanging out this lunch break, all of our high school friends. And I remember all of us sitting at the back of the assembly room, like cheering everyone on, like, fuck yeah, jump those chairs, man. And here is a beautiful... Here is Andrew Durning on stage where he belongs, you know, the storyteller that is Andy Durning. And he's, you know, sitting there with this kind of beautiful, bright red, luscious hair just beaming in the sun. And he starts running on stage, and as he's running, it just goes slow motion. He jumps, and as he jumps off stage, he kind of slightly goes off angle, and rather than going straight down the middle of the aisle where we were all landing, somehow he just rocketed off to like the left hand side and went straight in, crashing into the sea of, you know, high school chairs. And I swear this whole thing plays in my mind in slow motion every time I think about it. He's wearing his blue blazer, white shirt, school tie, and he's flinching so hard as his kneecaps and shins just crash into the chairs, and the chairs are up in the air flying everywhere. He probably took out at least 6 rows of chairs, just like a bomb had dropped in Airdrie Academy's assembly hall. And he just disappeared because we were all standing at the back, and he just sunk into the ground and all the chairs were gone. And it was like the best thing ever. No one was going, oh my god, that's so silly. It was like, yes, Durden, cheering him on. Because it was just, man.
Just loads of plastic and metal flying around
and then this little red head just poking up in the middle, being like, how far did I jump? That's probably one of my favorite memories, absolutely, of Andrew Durning, for sure.
So good.
Pardon me.
Yeah, I think that's something that Calum and I bring up quite a lot that you might not know about.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, have that in mind, that you left your mark with us with your chair jump.
You left your mark with so much more than the chair jump, but my god, just seeing your face crash into those chairs in my mind, dude, you're still a hero when I think about that. Just like that was what made high school awesome, was the people that we hung around with back then, because high school was awful otherwise.
I know, it's reminded me of I wouldn't say we were all like goofballs. Yeah, we were goofballs.
Yeah, 100%.
But we were all like sort of, you know, it's like we're alternative, we're outcasts, we were a bunch of goofs, and we all just hung out together. But I remember we all decided to hang out with each other at the same time at every odd lunchtime. So there would be like, all of us, and there'd be like 40, 50 guys just walking around the school. And we decided, just because we thought it was mental, that we decided to make our own fight club.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but we just, 2 of us would decide who to fight, and we'd just like wrestle in there. And then the rest of the school would just think we would beat ourselves up. And then, so no one wanted to come near us, like, not even like the biggest kids in the school wouldn't even come near us, and some of the teachers were looking threatened. And I think that, what was it the deputy said to you?
Mr. McGuffey. Mr. McGuffey came up to all of us one day, because there was probably at least 20 of us hanging around in the school corridor, and he was just like, "You there, break up that mob, break up that mob."
I just remember like the faces of folk going, "What's happening?
Where is all these people? Why is there so many of these?" Man,
it was. You'll probably remember that well, Andy, but it was hysterical. We'd all just pick a random spot in the school and we'd call it Fight Club, and we'd just start fighting.
Yeah, just
and then
wrestling.
we'd just like go, well done lads, good fight.
Yeah, for a laugh. It was all for good chat.
But yeah, it was worth a few bruises for the laughs.
Yeah, man. Was that back in the
But yeah,
days?
Andy,
Did we call ourselves Team Deathkill for a while? TDK?
Team Deathkill, that's right.
That's right. As you do when you're fucking 16.
Team Deathkill, that was it. But yeah, that was a lot of fun, so I appreciate those questions, it was good.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you for inviting us along to be guests on your show, and yeah, it was nice to go down a couple of memory lanes for sure.
Yeah, looking forward to listening to it, so yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, man. Sweet.
Guys, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today. I always felt like I was the wee geeky kid that followed you guys about in drama and high school and when you went to your gigs. And yeah, I probably still am that kid, but I'm more just a dorky man than a geeky kid.
When I was listening to those questions, and then you were talking about, what was your memory of me, that was really touching, because I genuinely didn't think you guys would actually remember anything about me for high school, because, I don't even like remembering me for high school, and it's just really nice to know that you do remember me in that way. You guys said, what's your favourite memory of me? So I think I should really return them in kind and be like, what are my favourite memories of you guys? This one is going to backfire on me majorly, but yeah, it's still funny. And it was around the time we were in drama class in, I think it was 4th year, and a rumour was going round that apparently I had a tiny one, which in fairness, but the whole point was no girl even looked at me in high school, so how would they know what was going on down there? So the nickname of Stumpy Dick, that started circling around, and you guys put it into a sketch. God almighty, what the hell has happened here? And then the worst part was, our drama teacher came in, Miss Ferguson, and you guys knew that I had a massive crush on her, so he's performed it again in front of her as well. To say I was going the same colour as my hair was a fucking understatement. I just wanted to just melt into the ground and die, but I just knew it was just bloody hilarious as well. And I was Calum and John Cusack and you, and I was like, holy shit. And Cusack tried to make it up to me in the walk home by giving me a cigar. I took it, mind, but yeah, oh my god, that was fucking crazy. Basically every time that I hung out with you guys was a laugh, especially when we were in the murder death kill squad and we would have the wee fight clubs. I just remember us, and it was outside of the library on the first floor of the house block, and it was wee Mark Macaulay, old Biscuit, and Big Ross Walker, otherwise known as Shrek, and they were fighting, and Macaulay pushed him into the wall, and one of the ceiling tiles for the top of the wall just went and smashed him in the head and knocked him out, and we were all like, leg it, and we bolted down to the assembly hall, going past music and stuff like that, because we were like, get the hell out of there. Didn't even check to see if he was alright, we just legged it. Oh my god. Like you said, yeah, we were the outcasts and stuff, but you guys didn't give yourselves enough credit, because you guys weren't the outcasts at all. Especially when you started the band, everybody, even the Neds, they'd be like, oh, that band, that Psychotic Pandas, apparently they are meant to be pure mental, man. And I'd be like, oh, I'm going to their gigs, and I get the shit kicked out of me because I was just a wee fanny. But go to your gigs as well, just up at Chapelside. I remember going to them in the mosh pits and everybody trying to dare me to do a crowd surf when there was only 12 of us, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking 15 stone, I'm gonna end up flattening some fucker. And then when it was for the Red, I remember going to see him my 19th birthday, and I've got a picture of me and Calum Doris and my mate Chris Thornburn, who's now a stand-up comedian, and I still keep it. It's just me in the middle with a big cheesy grin with my arms wrapped around you, and I'm thinking that I'm a ticket, but it was just because I was absolutely pissed at my stats at that point. But guys, it's been great. I have to admit, I miss you. You were talking about how bands touch people's lives, but even before you were Father Red, even when you were TPP, you guys touched my life. I've still got a TPP t-shirt, by the way. It probably will still fit me because I was a fat bastard then, I'm a fat bastard now. So, and I've still got obviously your TPP album, your 4-track album. I've got Lost in the Light as well. I'm just glad that we still keep in touch.
It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you today, and thank you so much for being part of the finale for the first series of That Mental Ginger Show.